Before we dive in, we are going to go through some system optimizations recommended by Avid in order to make sure that Pro Tools will run as efficiently as possible and avoid any problems. Now, I am on Mountain Lion on a Mac, and so we are going to be going through the optimizations for that setup. But if you go to the Avid knowledge base, and I'll try to leave a link with this video so that you can click on through to this part of the Avid website, you can click on the operating system that you have and follow through their suggestions that they have. So the first thing we are going to do is we're going to go to the system preferences, and you get there on a Mac by clicking on the apple and going to system preferences, and we are going to first go to the energy saver settings. What you want to do is make sure that the computer is set to never sleep, and you also want to make sure that the put hard disks to sleep when possible is unchecked. The second thing that Avid recommends is that you turn Wi-Fi off, and you do that by going to your network settings, clicking on Wi-Fi, and clicking right on this button to turn it off. The next thing that it recommends is to also disable Firewire networking. So this is for Firewire devices only, and so it may show up in this area as Firewire, built-in Firewire, Thunderbolt Firewire, and so forth. And what you'll want to do is you'll want to click on the drop-down menu for Configure IP version 4 and choose Off. Then you'll need to click Apply, and you'll need to restart your computer from there. And doing that will free up bandwidth on the Firewire bus and allow your Firewire devices to work more efficiently. The next thing you're going to want to make sure is that under security and privacy, that file vault is turned off. And the other thing that you're going to want to do is make sure you go to the iLock website, which is ilock.com, and you're going to want to download the latest driver for your system so that it will be able to recognize all of your licenses, including third-party licenses that you may have. Also, you'll want to go to Software Update, and you will want to make sure that this is turned off. Now, this is really important because if you have this on, you don't want your system to just automatically update. Even though it may be a minor update, you want to make sure that any updates that your operating system does is approved by Avid. There have been times in the past where a system update has actually caused Pro Tools to not even launch. So you want to make sure you have this turned off, and then when you are ready to update your operating system, you can do your software updates by clicking on the apple and going to Software Update and run it that way. The other thing that it recommends, if you are still on Pro Tools 10.3.6 or earlier, is to go to Spotlight, go to Privacy, and drag all of your drives onto this window here so that Spotlight doesn't index your drives. Now, if you are on Pro Tools 11 or later, they have changed the way that Workspace works, and so you actually want to make sure that no drives used with Pro Tools appear in the Spotlight privacy in that case. Now, if you're on a laptop, they also give you some suggestions that you can do to disable sudden motion sensor if you are recording in loud environments. But other than that, the other things to do are to make sure that we don't have any conflicts with keyboard shortcuts. So what we want to do is click on Keyboard, go to Spotlight, and you are going to want to make sure that you have both of these boxes unchecked, as one of these is actually even used for record. So you definitely want to make sure that's off. The other thing you want to do is go to Mission Control, and you want to turn off the function keys from being connected to Mission Control, and you'll want to turn off Mission Control or change them. In my case, I went through and actually changed the hotkeys so that they don't conflict with resizing the tracks in your project. Also, you will want to go to Services, and you'll want to make sure that you uncheck sticky notes or make a new sticky note. So this checkbox right here. And then make sure that on the keyboard, if you're running on a laptop, that you have the function keys checked so that you can switch between different edit tools within Pro Tools. Once you do that, then let's head on over to Pro Tools and just check some of the settings that we have up in the Playback Engine. So you will want to make sure that your audio interface that you plan to use is showing up in the Playback Engine. Now this is for Pro Tools 11. You'll see a few more options if you are on Pro Tools 10. If you are in Pro Tools 10, then you'll want to click on the processors and make sure that you are using at least one less than the number of processors that show up there. And if you have like a quad-core computer and it's showing that you have 8, you may want to actually even go to 6 processors. And when you do that, you can increase the percentage all the way up to 99%. Now in Pro Tools 11, we don't have this option, and Pro Tools 11 automatically optimizes that for you. But there is a hardware buffer size setting that you'll just want to be aware of. Right now I have it set at 64, but as you run sessions that are more complex, you'll find that you'll need to increase your buffer size, and that'll allow Pro Tools to run these more complex sessions. But it will add a little bit of delay and lag to your performance and the things that you are recording through Pro Tools. So you generally want to be as low as you possibly can while your computer can still handle it. Other things I recommend, turn on dynamic plugin processing, and that basically just frees CPU resources from plugins when they are not being used.